Movement Watches was founded on the belief that style shouldn't break the bank. The watchmaker's goal is to change the way consumers think about fashion by offering high-quality, minimalist products at revolutionary prices. With over 500,000 watches sold in more than 160 countries around the world, Movement Watches has solidified itself as the world's fastest-growing watch company. Movement Watches start at just $95, and at a department store, you're looking at $400 to $500, buddy. Movement figured out that by selling online, they were able to cut out the middleman and retailer markup, providing the best possible price. Classic design, stylized minimalism. I said minimalism. You understand what I mean. There's all these watches. We have a bunch here. We use them when we wear suits. We being me, I don't know what the other guys do. You can get yours right now with 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to movementwatches.com/Greggy. That's MVMTwatches.com/Greggy and step up your watch game. Wow, wow, wow. I don't have a watch on, but you know what I mean. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
You can't put a piece of paper and a pen in front of me without me drawing something disgusting.
Drawing a Batman.
What are you going to draw this time? Last time you designed it around the butthole.
Just introduce everyone else. Like, you can come back to me. We'll skycam it. We'll see what I come up with.
Over here, the maestro of pasta, Colin Moriarty.
Ooh.
Hello.
Maestros.
Hello. And right there, the pure one, Tim Gettys.
Let him.
Colin, I want you to tell me what's wrong with Tim's shirt.
What's wrong with it?
Yeah, other than the obvious that he's a grown man wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt. What's wrong with this shirt?
There's a Mickey Mouse wearing red shoes over here.
Nailed it. That's why Colin's true. It's infuriating that this one Mickey in this pose has the wrong color shoes.
We discovered this in the Kind of Funny Morning Show.
Right.
That for some reason, whenever he's doing that pose,
He's doing this. Like, you
yeah,
scamps.
you scamps.
Pluto, stop rolling in your own shit.
Yeah, there he is. You got a red shoe Mickey. I Googled red shoe Mickey to see if it was a clever little, like, on purpose thing. Definitely not.
No, this is just something wrong with that one design of Mickey.
This is the alt costume. It's like when your friend already chose the cool looking Ryu. So then you had to be like the other one.
Is this from American Apparel? Where are we getting this? Target?
No, this is a Vans. This is from the old school Vans line.
Okay.
You might have remembered this shirt as featured in season 3 of Love and Sex Stuff. It was
course.
in many episodes.
How can we forget?
Yeah.
Was that the one where we were in the park?
Yeah. No, it was the one when we were at the Palace of Fine Arts.
Oh, the Palace of Fine Arts. A lovely place here. Nick, what are you drawing? Oh, no, it's a caricature of me. Oh, no, Kevin. Skycam. You couldn't have fixed it while we were all that time? Because you knew that was going to come, right? He was drawing something. Just saying it would have made...
I set it up that I was drawing something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just zoom the camera in, by the way.
Can't he just turn it on and then zoom there and like show people? There you go.
Greg Miller poop hard.
Head. Poop head, not poop hard, I don't think.
Yeah, poop hard works too.
You look like you're pooping hard.
I'm smiling too much to be pooping hard. Or is that my tongue hanging out?
It's your tongue hanging out.
Oh, okay.
You go like this.
You should have put some blackness there then.
Poop head. I'll put some blackness in it.
Thank you. Fix it up. Give me a little definition there, a little bit of shade. Something in there, a shader. Please give me a
I'm gonna
shader.
give you some teeth and a little bit of black. And then I'm gonna get here's the
Kevin, here's your 5-minute warning.
With a little black in his mouth.
a little black or a lot of black.
All right,
little.
everybody.
All right.
If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where you can back us, support us, still get Kind of Funny Live early right now as of the initial posting of this, right?
That is true.
All right, cool.
Kind of Funny Live 2 will be free to everyone on February 6th. Right here on youtube.com/kindoffunny.
You can also get a whole bunch of perks, goodies, and exclusives. You can get your topic on the show, like my topic's going to be when I start it off here in a second. Or if you want to give us no money, no big deal, head over to youtube.com/kindoffunny, where we put up the entire show topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big MP3 in video the following Friday. Now, to start things off, not my topic at all. Not my topic at all. Just a bullet point to throw out there. We have a gift.
We have a gift. I like gifts.
This comes from our good friend Jon Karl. You might remember Jon Karl. Studio 71. Helped us when we were starting
Karl.
on.
Is it Jonathan?
It is now from Whiskey and Waffles. Kind of funny. Since I've been slacking and haven't made it up to SF to visit the new studio, I wanted to send you some housewarming gifts. You'll find in here a Zizor, Bossk, and Luke in Stormtrooper armor.
Shisor, Bossk, and Luke.
These are for Colin, Nick, and Kevin to divide as they see fit. Yes, I'm even gifting Kevin. Tim, you'll find a classic Blue Ranger figure to commemorate the Ismahawk video that you helped inspire.
Yes.
Finally, Greg, there is one last figure just for you. You'll know what to do with it probably for the rest of the episode.
Oh,
I haven't looked it up. I don't know what
Things
it is.
about to get dark and nasty.
Got this. Oh, see there, I didn't have to like
Oh, they put the
mad
bubble
dog
wrap.
you for the sky cam, Kev. You figured out that was going to be. All right, so there's Zygor.
She's
Big old Zygor. Oh, it's Watto. I get Watto.
Yes.
I know what to do with Watto.
Greg, nobody's disputing that. Nobody wants Watto.
I want Watto.
You
It's
can
mine.
have
Watto is mine.
Remember the little
Watto is
context?
yours.
Colin?
There's
are
there's
things.
Bosk. There's Luke.
Let me see
then
this
here
one. Can I see?
is
I
Blue
mean, I
Ranger.
know the Blue Ranger's mine.
Yeah.
But like, let me see Luke for a second.
I remember
Man.
getting these. Now these are so they've lost all of their value where they would be you could totally open them. That's great. Thanks for showing us that.
Just like last time. Yeah, they have these were the ones that you collected these too, right? You
I
thought
have
they were gonna be-
every Star Wars figure and every vehicle and every playset and every package from including specials from 95 to 2002. Every one.
Gotcha. Was Watto with the data pad a big deal for you?
See that one?
Watto, when episode 1 came out, or like, so 2 weeks before episode 1 came out or so, the toys came out. And this was in early May 1999. And my dad and I went to Toys R Us at midnight and I bought every character from every wave and all the vehicles and everything from episode 1. And that was basically the last time I had purchased. I guess it's not till 2002. It would be till like 2000, 2001 because I didn't buy any episode 2 stuff. But I had all the episode 1 stuff.
Gotcha.
Man.
Because now that Watto, we've agreed the best character in Star Wars.
Yeah.
People keep giving me Watto things, and every time I get a Watto figure of any kind, it's Watto with data pad. I don't remember the data pad being so important to the episode 1 storyline, but clearly it was because they make a big deal every time of
That's
saying
his
Watto
thing. Yeah.
with data pad.
That Luke though, and it wasn't this. I never was a fan of these little like 3.5 inch ones. I'm
Yeah.
definitely a 6-inch guy in many ways. But I always wanted the Luke with the removable helmet. Like there was
Well, you
this
got
little
it.
collectible shop somewhere.
Like he got the Power
It's
Ranger.
not mine. It's one of you guys. I got a Power Ranger. But I didn't want that. Like I said, I don't want no 3.5. I wanted the 6-inch one.
Wait, there
'Cause
was,
those-
was like literally that big?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Those are like limited runs. They were different than.
Oh. I
than
mean,
these are like
this
the
just feels too
collectors.
big to me.
That's
They need to be a
too.
little bit smaller.
That's too big to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you guys
My
played
Star
with
Wars
little
toys were
baby toys.
tiny.
But then, see, we hit a point, though, where these kids start playing with these giant toys. I don't like that. You know what I'm talking about, Big Kev?
Yep.
And the Power Rangers, and they're like fucking 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Now Prince
Oh, and then
Zy.
there's the giant ones. When you walk to Target, and there's the Leonardos that are like...
Oh yeah, they're like kid
fucking
size.
Kid size?
Yeah.
The hell?
Now Prince Zygor, is he one of these Timothy Zahn folks? Is he those Timothy Zahn one they're bringing back?
He's from Shadows of the
He's from
Empire,
First Shadows of the Empire.
Is that what Timothy Zahn wrote?
No, Timothy Zahn didn't write Shadows of the Empire. No, he's he's like kind of the antagonist in
He's a gangster.
the book.
He's the one
The
that,
book takes place between Empire and Jedi.
It's a cool book. If you haven't read
It
it,
is.
you
It
should
is
read
a great book, actually.
It kind of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it explains how Leia got that armor that she wears in Jedi.
Yeah, a lot of it is about that. And there's
Right.
a character named Dash Rendar in it that's not really.
Yeah, he's
seen
right
in
here.
them.
Are you familiar that people are trying to legitimately say that Return of the Jedi is
not what it's
shortened to Return?
No one has ever called Return of the Jedi Return.
People were saying
Ever.
it in the Twitch chat the other
dude,
day.
it is the same people that when you say AT-AT, they're like, no one says that. And I'm like, yes, everyone said that before you started watching Clone Wars and started watching Star Wars 5 years ago. But here's the thing about it. People used to also call ATSTs chicken walkers, and you don't hear that very often anymore
Racist,
either.
yeah.
So there's a lot of Star Wars revisionist history going on.
There's a lot going on.
A lot of people that don't know what they're talking about.
Did Rogue
and that's
One-
one of the things that is disgruntled. Because I overheard when you guys were doing the show. No one has ever called Return of the Jedi. I want to be very clear. No one has ever called Return of the Jedi Return.
Just to
Hasn't
be
have it.
super clear, I was joking yesterday.
Oh, were
no
you
one
really?
was saying that in the
Oh
chat.
my god! I thought people were
No,
in the chat were
no
saying
one
that.
thinks it's a return.
Oh my god!
No.
I thought you were totally serious about that.
No, that was a joke. That
Did
was a
Rogue
joke.
One actually say one of the things nobody liked though? Did it say AT-AT or AT-AT, something like that?
They had AT-ACTs.
And they said AT-ACCs?
No, I don't think they ever called them anything.
Okay. I could have sworn somebody tweeted after the fact that they were super upset that the movie confirmed one of those things.
I'm sure someone's going to get very upset about that. I'm sure someone's also going to get upset that I call AT-ATs AT-ATs.
I think it's sucking.
Because I like Star Wars,
You like pure Star Wars, real Star Wars.
real Star Wars.
Yeah, you don't like any of this
Prequel
new
Star Wars when we
cool
had
shit.
more innocence.
Yeah.
What do you feel about The Last Jedi?
That's the name of the new episode? That's fine. What I'm curious about, because Jedi could be singular or
Yeah.
plural. So
Joker brought
what I'm
that up.
curious about is like Jedis is not a word. So although Jedi is not a word either. Yeah, I'm curious
Valid
about
points.
if it means like the last group of them or the last person. It seems like it's talking about Luke.
I like the theory that the names all match up. You said that today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Force Awakens,
The Last Jedi.
Now
two
now
something
he's
or
dead.
Whatever. Because like if you look at them, the two
Yeah, I
posters
heard you
next
guys
to
talking
each
about that
other,
earlier.
it like perfectly lines up.
That's cool.
I don't buy it. The third one's gonna be named some random ass shit, but who knows?
Real quick to
Well,
close
2
the book
years.
on this, Prince Zygar here is 1.9 meters tall. No idea how tall that is. And then Dash Rendar. We
1.9
remember when we
meters
worked
tall.
with Micah. Micah's AIM name had something to do with Dash Rendar there, and I, not being a Star Wars person at all, I thought he was a fan of like Dasher the reindeer.
Big fan
I
of
thought-
Dasher.
I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's a really weird
I've
thing.
always
but
been more of a Prancer guy.
San
but
Francisco, let your freak flag fly.
Let your freak flag fly.
My real topic
Yeah.
comes from patreon.com/kindafunny, where Aziz supported us once again to get his topic on the show. And he says, alcohol. I don't understand why people drink it. What's your opinion on it?
I'm kind of right there with you. Alcohol really does suck.
You drink it, though.
I
You drink your
do.
Moscow Mules.
Yeah, I do, but it's like it's very unnecessary
Yeah.
entirely. And if everybody just agreed to not drink it, they'd have just as much fun together.
Sure.
Not drinking.
No,
it.
that's not true.
I think it is
Alcohol
true.
loosens you up, gets you more
Yeah.
talkative.
But I mean, but then it's like I feel like there's such a small window of more talk. Like there's a quality of conversation level that it just hits a point where you're just vapidly speaking.
Yeah,
You know.
sure. But I think it gets people to talk to each other a lot of times. It's an activity. We're going to the bar. We're going to drink some. We're going to conversate.
I get that, but if you just change the activity, I think it would be.
That's when it gets really rough because there's so many activities I don't want to do.
There's a lot of Starbucks out there, though. You know, go to a Starbucks, make some friends.
But I don't want to go drink Starbucks at 9 at night, 10 at
You're
night.
just doing life wrong.
No, I'm not. I want to go to sleep. I want to have a good sleep schedule. You have a terrible sleep schedule. Don't get
Yeah, but that's the problem, though. Then you drink and then you're hungover the next day. That's the thing. If hangovers didn't exist,
Yeah.
then drinking, I'd be like, all right, it's totally. There's a lot more. Like there's a reason to do it, and then it makes sense. Right now, it's like when you drink to a certain level, your next day is done, and it's like,
Don't drink to that level.
yeah, I get that.
Unless you're
but it's
Colin or
like,
Greg.
but
They
I
have
feel.
ridiculous tolerance for it.
I mean, it's not even a tolerance thing. I think it's just like it reaches a point where you're just like you're not at your A game the next day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you're you're pretty much like I'm betting that I'm gonna have a good night and willing to give up tomorrow for it.
Good point.
And I just feel like 9 out of 10 times it's not worth doing that. You get suckered into it and you fucking like.
Is that how you-
There's no time like the now.
Is
as
that
the
what
kids
is
say.
that how you get suckered into drinking? You get suckered into it. That's what happened with you and drinking.
I mean, over like back in the day. Or
Even now, what you're talking
No,
about.
I mean, well, now it's just one of those things. Like once you do it, you just kind of do it. You know, like I'm not. I never have thought about like, oh, I'm not going to drink tonight.
Yeah.
Since I've started drinking, you know, it's like that's just what you do. If people are drinking, you drink. It's like you know.
Peer
But
pressure.
like, if it was up to me, I would just be getting cokes all the time and calling it.
You
a
can
day.
do that though.
I
There's
know,
plenty of
but,
our
like,
friends who do stuff like that.
I get it, but it's the get on my level conversation. It's not fun to be around drunk people when you're not drunk. So
That's
I'm
true,
like,
that's true.
I'm down to commit. I'm down to drink. I'm definitely down. I'm not against it at all. And it's like I'll play the game,
Colin,
but I'd rather drink Coke.
drinking. Why do you do it?
I don't know. I haven't been drinking that much actually the last year or so. But I enjoy it. I enjoy drinking and libating. I think it's first of all, it's very old.
Sorry, what?
Libating.
Libating?
Libating.
Like
Libations.
libations. I think
I didn't know this word either. I learn a new word. I literally learn a new word from Colin every day, at
He's a
least.
thesaurus.
read enough nonsense, and you too will learn words.
I just have you for that. I don't need to read.
But I like to drink, and I think one of the things that is interesting about alcohol is that it's very old and ancient, and I think that it's a very old way of fermenting and creating drinks, and for a lot of civilizations it was the only safe way to drink and to get like liquids in you, which is why beer was so so common, for instance, in Middle Ages and Renaissance Europe. But I think that so I think there's something in us that makes us want to drink. That like it's civilizations unrelated to each other. Many have stumbled upon the fermented alcohol kind of thing by
wine,
themselves, and like that's interesting, and that's not really a coincidence. So I think that there's something to be said about that. But in terms of modernity and drinking or whatever, like I think it's important to do it within the context of what you're doing. So if you shouldn't, I don't think people should be drinking by themselves. I don't really think you should be drinking every day. But if you're going out and having a cocktail with dinner, or you are drinking with friends, I think that's fun. And I think it affects people in different ways. But I think that the common unifier is that it makes you not who you are. And sometimes that is good, and sometimes that is bad. There's some people I fucking hate being around when they're drunk, and there's some people that I like that I love being around when they're drunk. And I actually think
Drunk Paula.
I actually
Drunk
think that
Paula's good?
I actually think that I hate mean drunks, and I hate obnoxious drunks, and those are pretty common types of drunks. But there's other kinds of drunks too, the very talkative drunks or the very intellectual or philosophical drunks. I personally think I become less guarded and less down when I drink. But alcohol is a depressant, so that affects people in different ways. But I like to drink, and I can't explain why. But the honest answer is that if someone was like, you can't, like, if someone for some reason was like, you can never drink again, I wouldn't like
dash yourself on the
I wouldn't
rocks.
like lose my mind.
Right.
Like I would. There are other things that I would rather do than drink, and you have to choose your vices in that respect. But it's not, if someone was like, you can never have bourbon again, or you can't eat a cheeseburger again, or something like that, I'd be like, well, I'll take the cheeseburger. You can take the bourbon.
Yeah.
But that said, I there's a time and a place for it, and I think that it's an age thing too. I don't think it's necessarily exclusively an age thing, but if someone handed me a glass of bourbon when I was 14 at a party or something like that, I would have thought it was like gasoline, like disgusting. But as you get, and then in the college, it becomes like, all right, well, you mix it with things and you try to get it down. And then now, like I'm 32, it's like, I drink bourbon neat. That's pretty much all I drink. So I also think that kind of context is important as well. That like, I remember drinking my first beer at my friend's brother's graduation party when I was like 10 or 11. And I was like, this is fucking disgusting. And I remember smoking my first cigarette and thinking like, this is disgusting and all that. But then
It's weird how it grows
things
on
don't
you,
become
right?
disgusting
That's what I always think about when we...
you shouldn't smoke cigarettes though.
We threw our first house parties, right, when our parents weren't paying attention or whatever. And when we sent, Chris's brother, who was 21, to go buy booze for this party, I remember, you went around to all your friends who were going to this party and you got this giant list, and it was like Pucker and Mike's Hard Lemonade and all these like things that don't taste like alcohol.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were getting ready to give them that and the money, we were like, well, fuck, should we get some beer too? And it's like, yeah, sure. And they got beer, and like, no one drank that beer. No one was like, yeah, you know what I want? And we got Miller Genuine Draft. You know what I want? An MGD right now. That's what I want to jump on right now. No, nobody thought about that because you drank it and it was terrible. And then it was like, when you got to college and it was like all that's readily available is Keystone Light and all these different
Pabst.
kegs or whatever. Yeah, Pabst. You start drinking it and then you develop a taste for it. And then you eventually, for some like me or whatever, want to start doing IPAs once.
I developed a taste for beer recently.
Really?
Like I hate beer. Hated beer forever. Like
What
it was
was,
just like
the gateway for you developing a taste for it?
Greg Miller.
Yeah.
I think.
Like
just
IPA
being
state
around
drinks?
him enough where it's just like, because my problem is like, you guys all know this about me. I have a drinking problem. If there's a drink in front of me, I like to drink it, and I like it in large.
Let's define this. You have a
large
problem with
quantities.
liquid,
Yes.
not necessarily an
Well, no,
alcoholic
it
drinking
is a
problem.
drinking problem. Like,
Yeah.
like it is literally, I just like to drink whatever the
Liquids,
hell it is.
yeah.
So,
You drank gasoline in front of us once.
Yeah, I did.
It was in a cup on the
I
ground.
couldn't stop.
It was 91 though. So it was,
But no, it's
it was
like
fine.
when I get Cokes, I get many, many, many refills. If I get water, I get many,
I'm right
many,
there with
many
you.
refills. And it's like, I know you are. But when it comes to like, I prefer the harder alcohol, I think. But things like Moscow Mules, I like that as like the more mixed thing, just because there's more quantity than when you just get like Bullet,
Sure. Yeah.
But
The
then
problem is they catch up
Beer
on
is
you.
like, holy shit, there's a shit ton of them. But yeah, the problem is they get expensive and it catches up to you very quickly. But with beer, you get a fucking biggest cups I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
they're frozen cold cups. And I'm like, I'm fucking down with that. I'd love those cups if they would give me soda in them. That
You can get those in
should
some
probably
places.
ask for that.
Yeah, you can just
Like
do that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Freak flag, frozen
but
mug.
being with you all the time, I'm like, all right, I gotta like keep up with this. And
You don't have to. I don't mean to encourage. I don't mean that sounds bad when you say it like that. But again, we are talking about a drug. Alcohol in general, like why he's like, it's a great question. I understand why people drink it. What's your opinion? I've had so many hangovers where you wake up and like, oh my god, like why I gotta why
did I do this to
And
myself?
there's only been one ever where I woke up and I'm like, I'm done. I'm never drinking again, which of
Yeah.
course didn't last. But it is that thing of like, there is that question of why, and like how does it get out of control and where? But there's always a turning point, a tipping point when I'm like, I should have a water now or whatever, but I'm having such a good time and I'm in such a good flow or something and I'm having a conversation. It is like, well, I'll have another beer and then that's the one too many, or bourbon or whatever.
Yeah, I'm right there. I mean, I'm right there with you guys. Like, you guys know I probably drank the least in this entire group. And the reason for that was that I think it was like my birthday last year or something like that. We all went out. Remember, we had a ton of vodka for no reason. I was like,
Projectile vomiting, yeah.
and I just had the worst 2 days of my life, to the point where I was like, I think I'm gonna die. Like I almost had my wife take me to the hospital. I was like, you need to give me some pills, right? Whatever fucking pills cure this, get them in me right now. I am not opposed to you shoving them up my ass to get them in my system faster.
Like, here, drink Pedialyte.
Yeah. I mean, she literally was like, charcoal pills. Like, what do you need? I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you.
Just like, just put the Pedialyte in my ass. And she's like, no. It's like, just do it.
I want to boof the Pedialyte.
But you know, my thing is, I just hit a point where after that, where I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy the taste of it. I enjoy the social aspect of it, and I agree that there is something to that, right? There is something to everyone coming together and saying, "Hey, we're going to indulge in this vice real quick together, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to just kind of let go a little bit, you know, like forget about everything that's outside of this bar right now." And it's sort of a hypnotic state that you kind of get yourself into, and your friends get into, where you know time passes like that, and all of a sudden you're like, "Fuck, it's 2:00.
Yeah,
it's pizza time." But I just, 2 in the morning, yeah. I've never developed a taste for alcohol. I've never had a sip of an alcoholic beverage and thought, this is great, I need this. Not like I mean, I really, really got attached to cigarette smoking. Like I would smell a cigarette and be like, it was the weirdest thing in my brain because it would just trigger an emotion that said, that is disgusting, I need to have it. Like it was simultaneously disgusting and fucking awesome at the same time, and it still happens to this day. So like I'll look at a cigarette. Like your brother had a cigarette hanging out his hat the other day, and I was just like, I just found myself staring at it. I was like, and I don't want it. I haven't had a craving for a cigarette in forever, but I just saw it. I'm like, I would smoke the shit out of that thing right now. But like last week was the first time I had a drink with you when we all went to dinner. I can't remember the last drink I had before that. It's a very strange thing. And then I just went on a fucking weird, like, let's do a bender real quick, where I drank 3 nights in a row and then I got super sick. But you do kind of like stop to wonder, like, this is a poison that you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
It's not really good for you. I don't care what studies are out there that say like having a glass of wine or two or beverage.
Well, that's the whole thing of moderation.
I don't buy that ingesting this fermented poison into your bloodstream can be like, I don't think the downside outweighs, or I don't think it could possibly, the benefits can, the downside. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I just don't see that.
There is no upside to drinking bourbon.
Not the bourbon you drink, that fucking 90 proof shit that like burns your insides
uncut.
So there was a time, I've always had this unusual, I can drink a lot, and it's always been that way. I don't really, my ability to drink is strange and outweighs and outstrips my body size, even getting fatter as I am now. And I always, there was a time when I was proud of that, or I took pride in that when I was younger, when I was in college or something like that, or early on when I was like, I can drink you under the table or whatever. Like, and then it was, but then I was like, but that's actually bad, because either it's something inside of you, like genetic, or it's like that you drink so much. When I was at Northeastern, that you just become immune to its effects or whatever. The two things I would add is that I've become, and I think everyone generally becomes way more responsible when they drink, the longer they drink and the older they become. And so I haven't had a bad, terrible hangover in probably 6 or 7 years.
Really?
Like a hangover that has completely fucking debilitated me. No, not years and years. I remember the last one.
What about New Year's? I remember after I texted you something and Aaron said you were passed out.
On New Year's?
Yeah. But I couldn't remember if it was a cold or if it was drinking.
He said that he remembered. He can't remember the last time. He blacked out for a couple of days.
No, I mean, whatever happened on New Year's was probably just a normal kind of thing. I'm talking about like something where I wake up, I'm throwing up all day. Yeah, I'm like totally on the couch. I'm fucked up. I blacked out the night before, all that kind of stuff. That has not happened to me probably since 2011. I remember it. I just remember it was right when Greg moved in. But
which party was it?
I did like car bombs with Sean Norton at
Neck of the Woods. We were out there for Dana's show.
It's terrible idea.
I remember that night. Is that when we had everybody back to the house?
Yeah,
that was a great party.
Just a really bad
great
idea.
After party.
So that was the last time like where I got really irresponsible with it, because what I try to be cognizant of, and I encourage people to be cognizant of, and it's sometimes hard to do in the moment, is just to really pace yourself. Like I could probably drink 6 or 7 old fashions before I'm really starting to get tanked. That's a lot of bourbon, by the way. That's
like a half a bottle of bourbon.
Just for people, that's 16 ounces of bourbon. That's a lot of bourbon.
Yeah.
But if you spread that out over, say, 4 hours, and you drink some water in between or whatever,
that would fuck me up.
I'd be fine. And the thing that I try to do, it's the same thing why, like, you know, like where like no matter how fucked up I am, I always brush my teeth before I go to bed, right? Like nothing, like there's no amount, like, because it's just like I'm so OCD about certain things I have to do that. And it's the same thing with drinking. Like when I go home, it's like I'm gonna drink as much fucking water as I possibly can get down. Like I'll drink like 2 pint glasses full of water. And if you can, no matter, I don't want to say no matter how much you drink, but there's a certain threshold where if you're just drinking a responsible or you're just over the threshold of responsible amount and you really go home and tend to that, you know, some people have their different cure-alls or whatever. I know Damon pops a few aspirins before he goes to bed and drinks like a glass of water or something like that. People have all sorts of different things that they do. Then that mitigates and helps the situation the next day, because we've all been there where it's like I'm never drinking again, but it never sticks, and it's not a good way to go about your life. You have to use it as I find that it's an additive component to a social situation or an additive component to a meal or something like that. It's like if you're at home drinking bourbon by yourself for hours at a time, that's different.
Listening to
and I'm not trying to judge
Plugging
anyone.
it down, staring at
I'm
the
not
TV.
trying to judge anyone. You
Just
really
snow.
shouldn't drink alone. That's a rule. That's an important rule. I mean, if you want to buck that rule, have a bottle of wine, do it, that's fine. But the general rule of thumb is to just don't drink alone. Then you probably don't have a serious problem. Yeah. If you're drinking alone often, or have to drink every day or something like that, it's everything in moderation. I agree.
Yeah.
So, but so why? I don't know. But I think that what I was saying to Tim earlier, and what I think is important, is that we all these civilizations stumbled upon this in different ways. Like this is a human, alcohol is a very human, very ancient thing. And
let's get fucked up.
And it will always exist. It's the same.
Let's get fucked up.
Let's get fucked up.
It's the same way that other, some civilizations like to smoke or do psychedelics and stuff like that. Like that's not a ubiquitous thing amongst all civilizations, but a ubiquitous thing amongst all civilizations, whether you're talking about the Cossacks with their vodka, or you're talking about, beer in Europe, or you're talking about all these different things, mezcal and all that, like it's all the same.
Yeah, there's more to it than just let's get fucked up, though. I think it's like it's part of it's ritual for sure, but I think it's part of an experience, right? Like Colin and I were supposed to go to dinner tonight. I've been looking forward to it since last week, and it was like that idea of going to Nopa and having like that fucking awesome lighting Nopa has, and awesome food, and an awesome cocktail, and an awesome friend, and sitting there and talk, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's all these different parts that come together to make this experience greater.
Here's my question for you guys, though, because I don't drink often, but I do find myself in those social settings where people are drinking, and so I do get that sort of perspective of being a fly on the wall, and it is different. I mean, you can have fun when you're not drinking and everyone else is. I'm not going to say you can't.
And there's a big difference, I think, in not to put it into age or whatever too, but in when you're out with a group that's drinking versus a group that's out there getting fucking wasted. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like there's a difference there. I don't mind going if I'm not going to drink for a night, or if I'm driving something and I go out and people are having cocktails.
Right. There's a difference between our Christmas party this year, which was super fun. Everyone but me, and I think your brother wasn't drinking either. But we were just kind of like, I had a great time. I didn't even realize that I wasn't drinking. It was fun. That's because it was great company. But
I got fucking wasted.
When I was in my 20s, I used to not drink sometimes when we'd go to the comic club, because I'd have to be designated driver, and that was fucking torture. Because it would be super fun at the beginning of the night. By the end of the night, you're like, none of you people make sense.
Shut up.
You
Stop
all
talking
understand
to me.
each other, I think, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's just and it's just hot breath.
Yeah,
that's all you hear, because people were like, they don't have spatial relations, so they're this
comic
close
club's
to you.
loud.
God damn. But I will say that, like, I honestly think that people use it as sort of for that reason, but they don't need to. And I think the general problem I have is that once you hit a certain threshold, there aren't that many fucking things you can do with your friends in a big group setting. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
That's
you
also
can't,
true.
like, what else can you do on a Friday and Saturday night other than go to dinner or go to a cocktail? Like, you really, with 8 people, you know what I mean?
And even going to dinner gets really tough.
Yeah, even going to dinner gets tough. So you're like, let's just meet for drinks afterward. Let's go to a bar.
And that's why I think you're seeing a rise in like board game culture and stuff like that, and the fact that more people are playing that stuff, because it's easier to get people together to come do.
I would fucking when I used to say, like, when I was right out of college. By the way, I made it like super dark right there. Just say
no, I know it's my asshole. I saw the drawing. It's you drew me spreading my ass. I'm goat seeing it up here.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Kevin doesn't care.
When I was right out of college, when we didn't have any money, and all I would do was like serve food. You know, we didn't have a lot of money to go drinking, and so we didn't want to spend anything really. So what we would do is we found an all-night coffee shop. We used to play Trivial Pursuit or Dominoes and just drink coffee. And it was like a $5 night, unless someone had to always, it was your week to buy the pack of cigarettes. It was $10 night.
Yeah.
But it was awesome because you just sat and fucked around and conversed, and you didn't need necessarily that crutch. So yeah, I mean, I would actually love, and I thought about this for the longest night, if we had a revolving like game night that happened every like Saturday night or Friday night. We didn't feel the need to go out, go to someone's house, just sit down and fucking play board games. Yeah. I think that'd be hilarious fun. Granted, that might be more fun if we were drinking, but still.
I do this. Jeez. I end up doing both.
Yeah.
Me and Curran and all them, like almost, I'd say once a month we do like a thing where we go to his house and play Jackbox and
That's
like,
fun.
now VR shit and like Taboo and games like that. But there is alcohol involved as well, which is fun.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not necessarily something you have to take out of the equation completely, but if sometimes I think people, when you say, hey, we're going to go to a bar, then the expectation automatically clicks over in your brain, like, hey, we're drinking tonight, Whereas if you go to someone's house, maybe that's not the case. Maybe you're just going to someone's house, so there happens to be alcohol, maybe I'll have it, maybe I won't. It changes the dynamic of the situation a little bit.
Definitely.
But that's the biggest problem to me, especially when you get married, right? Where you're like I barely see you. I mean, I see you guys at work, but we don't see each other socially that often.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do? Like, what are we gonna do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we went out but case in point, you and I went out to dinner last night to do some stuff.
Yeah.
You were having wine. I was having Diet Coke.
Yeah. And I was judging you hard.
Were you?
I was like, here I am trying to fucking seduce Nick, and I'm making it as easy as I can for him. I'm one step away from this with all the wine I'm drinking.
All you have to tell me is that I'm pretty and I'm yours.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm most attracted to the girls that are attracted
Complimenting
to me.
you.
Yeah.
All right.
always the way it
That's
goes.
something. That's a deep look inside.